You guys missed the biggest treat just watching RP dance.
I would buy them.
I just need to play music just to watch that. It's fun. Yes, I love it.
That video is everything.
Yeah, I was captivated by your beautiful intro there.
Oh, God,
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a vibe.
I did that. I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing the things, but I'm really doing it. I'm really doing this Authortube Twitch thing.
Yeah, you are.
So how is everybody doing? How is everybody's break? This Twitch is a little bit different, so sometimes it takes a minute for people to come in because it doesn't, the way it goes live is a little bit different. But we already have people here, so yay. You guys want to tell me how your break went? Did you do anything? Did you just relax? What happened?
No, you go. Oh my god.
Yeah, let's go around. There we go.
Well, I looked through. My wife is a graphic designer, so I was looking at a bunch of the icons that she created and giving her my opinions as a layman who doesn't know anything. I was like, yeah, that looks like a book.
She's talented.
It works.
She did the graphics when you do your live stream. She did that graphics. The other Nia.
The other Nia, that's right.
Is very talented. Hello, everybody. Go ahead, RP.
I love that. That was so much more interesting than what I had to say. I opened up a bag of sweets and poured myself another whiskey.
Delicious.
Rum.
I mean, I wish.
You're a lady.
Yeah, it's rum.
Nice.
Ooh, yummy.
I'm British. What can I say?
Yes.
My tattoo is of a Sailor Jerry's girl because I was a bartender for 5 years and I wanted to get a tattoo to commemorate me shilling booze. So.
I vibe with that. I like it.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, hi, everyone.
I worked on my thumbnail for Monday's show because I kind of had forgotten.
Oh, no. So did you get it done or just it's a work in progress?
It's mostly done. Yes, and then I also messaged my brother of, hey, we forgot to do the copy for the show.
Side note, I also uploaded my latest video during the break. So if anyone wants to doing like a sprint.
God, you guys were actually productive during that. There's the pandas. Pandas on screen.
Aww.
Hello, keyboard.
Yes. I love it.
That's all I did.
Clock. Oh my god, that's an old reference. That's all. I love that. Hello, hi friend. That's someone that paid attention to my existence for a while.
I'm trying to move away, and I'm sad about it.
I love it.
Who's next? Glory? No, did Glory just go? Charlie.
Yeah, Glory just went.
It's your turn.
Yeah, Charlie.
Charlie, let's go, Charlie. What'd you do?
I thought I just said that I.
Oh yeah,
Charlie, you went already. Oh my god.
I'm scrolling through the chat, so I don't know when you guys are chatting with each other. So.
Someone pay attention to Charlie. She's the only one here.
It's okay.
Like, let this be the Charlie show. Can I put you on full screen so you can be?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is Charlie, everybody. We love her so much. She's fantastic. No, not me.
In the hot seat.
Why did put it on me? Like nobody's here to see me. I don't know these controls, people. Things just happen. But yeah, Barrett.
Oh, sorry. Let's see. I went and saw Ricky. He was watching 27 Dresses or 15 something number of dresses was on TV. And I hadn't seen it in a long time. And they were at the part where he's in the cab with her like notebook, like her calendar.
Yeah.
It would never happen today, but it was kind of fun to like watch like this movie that's become very dated that we used to love. So we had a moment together, and I was like, "Yeah, bye." He was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I have some opinions about people I don't know on Authortube." And he was like, "Yeah, that seems more important." I was like, "It is."
Yeah.
But that movie
Okay.
is so good.
This is the mood. Brandon Sanderson, the M's do need to you have to get used to them, but then you just kind of tune them out.
Yeah.
What do you mean by the AMs?
I was going to then we went over and but he is such a nice person though that you start to not hear them.
I don't actually hear them because
see, you don't.
I've never actually. I've watched his entire series, both of them, and I've never heard this.
Oh wow!
Go back.
I noticed probably because I don't.
I've
like,
tuned
watch
them
my
out,
Vixen and I can hear it. But I agree, like you lose it after a little while.
Yeah.
Mhm.
At first, I was like,
you catch
he
it.
does that a lot, and then I tuned them right out because the AMs just kind of become background noise because he's so engaging. Otherwise,
He's doing his job. Leave him alone. Oh my God, Andrea.
We're
Yeah.
Like this is getting spicy already. We're talking talent.
Andrea.
no one's
He is
coming
a
for
literal professor.
No
Chill
one
out.
is coming for Brandon Sanderson
Coming for me.
in my on my live stream. Okay,
Like not on my internet.
that's right. We like him here. You're
Not
fine.
on Beyonce's internet.
That's right. But yeah, the AMs they just start fading away. You don't notice them. Or like Sherri, never noticed them at all.
Unpopular opinions. Oh my gosh, did we get Richard Holiday to convert to Twitch too? That's too funny.
That's amazing. We got Barrett a couple weeks ago. I'm like,
Yeah,
you
it's
guys.
the dark side. It really is.
Sherri, everybody's going to be over here soon.
And it's so addictive.
Yes, Sherri got me over here.
I don't think I'll ever stream, but I do love to come play on others.
Yes. All right. So we have a hot take that we wanted to add in, and it is that Authortube is full of YA.
Are we getting a banner?
Yes, we are getting a banner.
I want you to lead this one.
Barrett.
Wait, me?
Yeah, you.
Barrett.
Didn't you-
No, it's you. You
It was
started
your
this.
thing.
No, I mean I'll say it, but I thought you had something specific you wanted to say. You want me to go first?
No,
Yes.
go ahead, Barrett.
Oh, all
Oh,
I would
yeah.
say about this is this is the whole thing about like it's true to the extent you seek things out. Like
Mhm.
right here in this stream, I think Charliee and I you and I the only two that are exclusively for like kiddos that we want to write for young people. I
Maybe.
think.
I think.
You're adult. Glory, you're adult, aren't you? And
Well, I
I'm-
also write middle grade.
Oh, I didn't know you did middle grade.
Oh yeah, I have a middle grade murder mystery
Okay.
series. Yeah.
But that's not YA, right? Like you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's not YA.
I tried to write YA for 15 years and then I gave up. Just
Yeah.
because teenagers be annoying, y'all. I'm sorry.
Yeah. See, I may be in that
Yeah.
boat.
I say that as a past youth director of 2 different churches of like, no more teenagers.
Right. And Laura Nettles, what she's saying now about it being oversaturated is so true. But Laura Nettles, I think you don't exclusively write away if you do it all. Richard Holiday doesn't. Like, I can point you to lots of channels that I know of that aren't huge. So, like, it's the thing about if you're not finding what you're looking for, then, like, look elsewhere. Like, and quit bitching about it, honestly. Because, yes, there's a lot of it, but that's just because YA is oversaturated in general.
All right. So
Also,
I
just
don't know
real
what this
quick,
means,
can I just
Sherri,
point
real
out
quick. Hang on,
The
really
hype
quick.
train.
The hype
is
train,
going,
yes.
y'all.
What is happening?
We are
Sherri,
at level 4 so
What?
far. Yes, the hype
Okay,
train.
It just
There's
like means that
8
gifts are
subs so far.
yeah.
Yes, we are on the hype train. Shoot, shoot.
Yay, thank you. So Harvey's like, what is happening? So am I. I'm still relatively new to Twitch. So thank you guys. That's awesome. I'm just
Wait, I
like,
still don't
Yeah,
know
we
what
are
happened.
halfway to level 5 already.
that's crazy.
What
Like,
do I do to get
This
to the
is
level?
amazing. Everybody's being so sweet in the chat. Like it's
Oh,
fantastic.
okay. Let me pay back attention to the chat because I'm like in awe. I just went to my Twitter really quick or my Twitch.
Oh, we're 96% to
90
level 5.
What?
What
Okay.
does this even mean? What are you saying?
Levels are
It
more things
means-
that you can do.
It means that people are like tipping
And-
you. They're giving you like money. They're subscribing to
People are
your
being
like
super
which
nice.
subscriptions in Twitch is slightly different because it comes with a payment.
Okay.
Yeah, so
It comes
it's not
with
it's not exactly just the following. It's just
Got it.
hello.
We
I'm
made
going
it.
to give you $4.
We made it to level 5.
Oh my
okay.
gosh.
Woo!
Woo!
Thank you guys so much. That's
Level 4 is
Wow.
complete.
Wow.
amazing. So if you want to live stream and you're not using Twitch, this is one of the reasons why I recommend it. I know I've already gotten affiliate on YouTube, but it literally takes 1,000 subscribers to get there. It doesn't take that here, and you're putting out the same amount of work. If you don't live stream, for those in the chat who don't live stream, it's a lot to do a live stream. And so when you're doing it on YouTube, it's a lot that you're doing, and you're doing it for the love of the community, of course. But when you're doing it on Twitch, it offers you opportunities to make money, and it's more interactive with the chat. It's just more interactive and more generous, I think, to the people who are actually hosting the live streams.
Mhm.
So there are definitely differences when you're live streaming on Twitch. So if you are someone who's live streaming, you've thought about it, I would say ask somebody, get some tips. Is that another hype train? What?
Yep.
Those are bits. You
Yeah,
got bits.
there's bits. It's
There's
like
bits?
tip. Yeah,
Oh,
your
thank
tip-
you guys for the bits.
I think each bit is the equivalent of a US penny.
Ooh.
I can't figure out what I'm
so-
doing.
That is super cool. So
Yeah.
I'm newish to Twitch, so I'm still learning all the things. But I have had a great time live streaming on here with you guys, so I appreciate it. And that's fantastic. Really, thank you. But let's get back to the topic because there are a lot to get through. And I know that we're going to do another one next month, and we'll have other Authortubers react to other things besides just the unpopular opinions, even though I think unpopular opinions kind of tie into most of what we react to. So
Yeah.
in some way or another, it kind of ties in. You guys are fantastic. So who else wanted to say something about the whole YA and Authortube? Because when I first came onto Authortube, I would agree that I saw a lot of YA. And I write the gamut from middle grade to adult. YA, even my fantasy novel, which probably should have been YA, I bumped it up. My youngest character is now 18, and my characters are between 18 and 20. I just, it's just a personal choice that I've chosen, but I do still read some YA, but YA is not as favorited as it was for me when I was younger. So that's what I have to say about it.
Okay, so my characters in my YA novels are 18 and over, but they're not older than 22.
Hmm.
But I still call it YA because it still has that like vibe to it.
So it's like that first person, you're only in the one main character's head type vibe.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Even then, I have one story that's 3 POVs, and is written in third person, but it's just younger. Like it covers topics in a younger way than an adult story would. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 150% of what Samantha's saying in chat right now too. I agree. I think part of the problem is also that people assume authors who are writing adult are writing YA,
Yeah.
or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
I read a lot of YA where it's really an adult story, where they've said that the kids are like 15 years old, when really they're making decisions as if they're adults and not 15 years old, which is sort of
I actually have an experience with trying to fit a story into YA because 15 years ago, the story that I was working on, that's the Bob and Terry one that Nia's somewhat familiar with. I was recommended by several agents and a bunch of editors of I need to make it YA. Even though originally that main character was like, honestly, Terry was in my mind about 28 to 30. And I was told you need to bump that down to 18 and then we could sell it. And I was like, well, here's my problem. I don't know enough about writing fiction. So let me go learn the craft and maybe I'll figure out how to do it where it'll work. And it just never quite worked for me. 15 years later, I've given up and she's back to, instead of me trying to write a teenager, it just felt, the character just felt like it worked so much better as somebody in their late 20s for what happens in the first quarter, in the first act of the story. So, but like every single agent I talked to from various associations, you know, because they'll have these meet and greets and everything, everybody I gave the treatment to was like, I can't sell this unless it's a YA. So that's what I was told for, you know, pretty much from the mid 2000s through the mid 2010s was, if you can make this a YA, I could probably sell it. You know, that's because it's a paranormal sort of mystery thing book. And they're like, I can't sell it if it's not YA. Was what I was told by at least half a dozen industry people.
Yeah.
And they, that's what I'm sure they were telling everyone. I don't think I was just the only one being told this.
No, Samantha.
Sam
Exactly.
said
comment.
it.
Yep.
So I just figure when I like hear about all these Authortubers who are writing YA, they probably picked up the same advice and they're doing their best to, you know, make something sellable or at least readable to what the general public wants right now. And it makes sense to me. I don't have an issue with it, even though, yeah, it does seem like a lot of people are right now pushing YA for what they're writing.
Yeah. And some of that goes to Samantha's comment about why it was so popular then. And I think there were so many deals that were 6-figure and 7-figure that were insane that everybody was like, oh, I can make money because there's, you know, if I write YA, then I'm going to get a huge deal. And now it's completely oversaturated. And the 3 people I know that are trad pubbed for YA stories, none of them got more than a 5-figure deal per book. And those were low 5 figures. Like, then, and that was good. They were happy about it. And, you know, like, that's just reality. So, you know, yeah, to that. I think what Gloria's saying is true. I think everybody was able to sell it from like 2005 to 2015, 16. And then that's not happening anymore. Like,
it's not necessarily, it's too saturated. It has become too saturated over the years because of how hard they were, publishers were selling it. So now that we're here, we're kind of, there are a lot less publishing imprints that focus entirely on YA, and a lot of the agents that were in YA have moved on to either other genres, or they've become teachers, or, you know, learned how to carpentry. They're basically no longer trying to buy and sell YA, so there isn't that much of a space in YA anymore, which is great for me because I write adultism.
So 2 things to add on to that. First, have y'all seen that, because I know everyone here is on Instagram, have you seen that Instagram tag where it's like blank and the blank, and it's supposed to be like a YA title, and you just fill in the title?
Oh yeah. It's the blank of blank and blank.
Yeah. I always get a kick out of those tags because, yeah, it just goes back to the saturation market. Yes. Yeah.
I think they're hilarious. But some people have said that actually worked, that they did that and it worked for them because that's what those people that are reading that's what they're looking for. Yeah. So
yeah, but
it's hilarious, but yeah.
And then the other thing I wanted to point out is that a lot of the friends I've made, maybe what? Did I say something?
No, sorry. I just saw the Sam of knowledge and secrets, and I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, that is a good title. But a lot of the writers that I've made friends with, they wrote YA, but then they got their deal for a middle grade novel.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of interesting because up until that point, they were like, yes, I am strictly a YA writer. Until they realized YA didn't work, and then went down a notch, and suddenly, boom, deal.
Yeah, I was worried that I was going to have to make one of my novels YA, and I was like, I really don't want to, because again, at the time that I was starting to watch it, that's all I saw. But once I branched out and I figured out you've got to specifically look for, you can't just type in Authortube. YouTube isn't going to just show you who you're looking for if you type in Authortube, which I thought that they were, but they weren't. Once I actually started seeking out different types of Authortubes and being very specific, and one of the other things that I started typing in is in my search for Authortube, I would narrow it down to this week or this month. So it couldn't just flood me with everybody. It could only flood me, like the first ones would be the flooded ones, but then I'd see a bunch of other people that I never saw before who posted a video this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, who's this person? And who's that person? And so I was like, there are so many more people. But I had to actually start narrowing it down and specifically looking. So, and then I was like, not everybody's writing YA. They're all writing, there's a lot of sci-fi, fantasy, just a lot of sci-fi writers. I'm so surprised. I'm like very happy
too.
Can I,
RP,
can I
breaking
on
out
that
there?
note, can I massively spill like my entire mug of tea?
Of
on
course.
these comments?
Do it.
go for it.
So not that I, ever like to call people out, because I think it's really like inappropriate and unjust to like name and shame people when you've got sort of something to say about it. But I really do feel like too much of, I'm going to say too much. And do you know what? Bear with me a second. I want one more glug of rum. Hang on. I feel like too much of Authortube is filled with incredibly creative people that have understood, and I'm not actually calling out anyone I know on this, just to clarify. I'm deliberately calling out people that I've seen on Authortube and have decided not to interact with. I see incredibly creative people that have accepted they don't know how to write and have decided therefore they're going to write YA fantasy. And the reason being is because with YA fantasy, you can get away with writing really shitty sentences because children read it and it needs to be basic. And you can get away with not having a fucking clue what's going on because it's fantasy and it makes sense in my world. Or you can get away with totally stealing another concept and idea, but saying it's like a retelling, and that means it's original. And I've got like a real issue with this as like a writing concept. And even as someone that's, like I said, I'm at university doing English literature with creative writing, and I meet like writers on my university course that are literally like, oh yeah, I've had this like really good idea for a book, right? And okay, obviously it's not word for word, but genuinely I've sat in a seminar and someone has done this. Okay, let me know if this sounds familiar. So they're going, oh yeah, I've had this really good idea for like a book. It would probably be like, I don't know, maybe like middle grade, maybe like YA or something. I feel like there's some adult themes in there, but basically it's this idea of like, has anyone really thought of like how to teach like war to kids? So I thought about having like maybe like this place. It might be like a school, or it might be like a house, or like an orphanage where like all these people that have this like thing in common that makes them a minority, and then like and then like eventually I don't know like evil dominates, and these like this group of like minorities realize that they have to like bound together. And like they're stronger as like a collective minority than they are against like the main people. And there's probably like magic involved, and I feel like at some point there's probably a dragon, because I don't know if you know, but I actually really love dragons. I was raised on them. Like it's a personal thing. It's not a trend. And like I feel like this is just something that's like really good. That like I've had this idea. I've been working on it for like many years. I started writing when I was 3.5 months, and it's I've always wanted to really write down. I've storyboarded it about 6 times. Some people have told me it's a little bit like some popular like fantasy series, but it's really not. It's totally unique. I promise.
So it's almost like a school.
Is it a standalone?
No, it's a series.
Definitely a series. It has to be a
I've already
series.
planned at least up to book 7, but there's definitely like a spin-off. There could be like a prequel trilogy, but I haven't fully planned that one yet, because
there's going to be an encyclopedia of this world.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Charliee take this one.
Oh, okay. See. Okay, I have this journal where I write about all the books that I read, and I read a lot of YA, and I rate a lot of those books a 2 out of 5. And it's not necessarily that I don't enjoy them, because I do enjoy them, but I also hate them at the same time because a lot of them follow that plot. But there are some good ones out there. And I think when it comes to YA, you know, there's the two groups. There's the younger YA and there's the older YA.
100.
So one book that I read recently, I think it was called like a Winter's Night or something, and it was a retelling. But hold it, it was a Russian.
Of course it was.
It was a retelling from some Russian fairy tale or something, and that's not the standard Beauty and the Beast retelling. So I guess that's something. But it was also filled
Who
with
does that though, right?
prose and like it was like literary fiction for YA, and that's why that book in particular stood out to me. And it wasn't about minorities or that magic. It was more like the environment. But yeah, no, I think yeah, a lot of people who write YA write it for the trends, and because they grew up reading it, they're like, this is an easy formula for me.
Yes.
And I think that's a very big clutch. Whereas in adult fiction, I'm not very change my opinion on it because I don't read adult fiction, so I'm talking out of my butt here. But there's less room. There's more room to be unique because adults do different things, I guess, than the one standard trope or something.
By and large, it's weird. I would fall right in the middle where I totally feel you. And Sarah, Janet, and I, if you want to get me to leave a room, pull one of those out and point it at me. It's like that in the Bible, and I'll run. But I'm with Charliee too, where one of my absolute favorite books of this year is an Authortubers book, and that's Lizelle Sambury's Blood Like Magic.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think it goes to the upper YA and lower YA. And then the expectations in both of those. And that goes to the, do you read really, really often in that genre? Like Charliee and I like consume mostly that. So then do we notice the things that are like really great and go like, wow, you know, this is the diamond in this pile of shit that I deal with here that I read for this genre all the time. And that's what I feel like happens. But I bet that happens in every genre. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Like, if I can like back up my previous statement, like I'm not just saying that like YA, in my opinion, YA is shittily written. Don't get me wrong, my biggest guilty pleasure is Dan Brown. Dan Brown can't write for shit, but my God, I fucking love his book. Right?
Oh God, Dan Brown.
What my point is though, is
you're right.
I feel like I know of too many people that are like, oh yeah, it's YA, and that's just what we were talking about like earlier back on YouTube. If you haven't checked out the YouTube, go check out the YouTube. I got you, B. But yeah, like when we were talking about, oh my God, I've literally lost my train of thought. Oh, I know.
Shitty writers.
Like, say it, don't show it, right?
Yeah.
I feel like too many people that are like, oh my God, like I don't have the like, you know, I don't read enough. I have the creative ability enough to show it. So they do the whole like, he did this, she did that, he did this, she did that, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I feel like too many people do that and go, yeah, but it's YA. Like, you know, kids don't have that big a vocabulary. I'm like,
Yes,
no,
they
you're just
do.
lazy and shit.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Look,
They do. Thank you. Yes, they do.
There's a variety
Too
of
many
kids.
people try and write
You know-
shit and get away with it by saying YA.
I agree. It happens all. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Charliee, I
I'm
was
not
just
saying
watching
all
you.
YA is that, but I'm saying too many people write shit and call
Yes.
it YA.
No.
I agree.
Yes. Charliee, I was just watching you while he was talking though, and you were like shifting, and I was like, I could feel the discomfort because I was sitting there going, I am feeling personally attacked.
I'm not going to call anyone out. I'm really sorry.
No, it was funny. No, it's funny. We were both feeling very called out. I feel very personally attacked, and I am just going to let Charliee. No, I'm kidding. I'm just teasing. But I was like, I'm going to let Charliee handle this because you got a plan. You had thought through. This is what is wrong with your argument.
Yeah, I was gonna say, okay, I'm allowed to say this because I feel like this is a general consensus, but I mean, there's always those outliers. But Cassandra Clare, look, I have never gotten through Mortal Instruments. I've watched the movie. Everyone told me it was awful, and I was like, this is some pretty good stuff. I just don't want to read it. But anyways, people are telling me that it's her other series that are so much better than the series that made her famous, which makes me wonder, why did she become famous? Was it the marketing? Was it she just published it at the right time, which I thought was kind of interesting because it was like all the demons, angels, whatever. Sorry if that's a spoiler. But I did. But yeah, so I thought that was interesting because I guess that's one example of an author who doesn't know how to write according to other people. I can't say anything because I haven't read her book, but that other people like her other stuff. Yeah.
And I'm
the thing. Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Oh, I was just going to say, in this realm of YA and good writing and bad writing, everybody should remember that some of the most popular books that were turned into movies that are making people millions upon millions of dollars were not good writing. I'm not going to call them out, but I think you know which ones they are. The writing is horrible, but people enjoyed it. But
Yeah.
I mean, the writing is really not good.
Yeah,
But
so
people enjoyed it so much
Mhm.
that they became movies that were also, the dialogue was so much the same that it's like, what? It's unbelievable. So when you're feeling like, oh, I'm the worst writer, there are different levels. People are on different levels. If you've got something, do your best with it, put it out there, and see how people receive it. Not everyone's going to like it, and then some people are going to absolutely love it. But don't just put out your worst. Do your best, of course. Edit. But
Exactly.
there's something. Someone's going to love that, and then turn it into a movie. And you're going to be like, but I wrote this brilliant thing, and that became a movie.
Yeah, and if you
It's making millions of dollars.
If you don't personally like the writing of something, it's still worth reading because obviously they became famous somehow. So it's the statistics that you want to look at there.
Yeah, you just find out what it was that did it. If you're interested to know what was it about this thing, and then that one also, and then that one that made these such pop. Because they weren't brilliant pieces.
Yeah.
What they
But
did
people
have,
love them.
however, what they did have is a almost naive quality of confidence. They said whatever it is they were trying to say with their whole chest, which is something that a lot of the more cynical of us will forget to do. It is, they just enjoyed and are super enthusiastic about the subject that they were writing, and that came off the page. Yes, it was terrible, but it had a level of enthusiasm to it that just affected people.
Yeah.
100.
So I have an unusual experience to now share.
Okay.
And that is being a public librarian in the early 20-teens through the end of the 20-teens. I was pretty much on the ground floor of a lot of book conversations with readers, and specifically thinking of Cassandra Clare and 50 Shades. It was not people talking publicly, and it wasn't advertising exactly that was getting it. It was one person going to another going, oh my God, you have to read this so we can talk about this. This character struck a chord and we need to talk about whatever this character somehow, meant something important to one reader. And then the other reader comes in with the book and says, can you please check this in so I can check it out? So this conversation kept coming up because then I have to say, I'm sorry, it's on hold by someone else, so I can put you on hold, blah, blah, blah. That's a whole nother issue with libraries. But nevertheless, this happened hundreds of times every year for me for several years about books that, again, as we talk about, not necessarily written with good prose, if we will say, they were mediocre at best. But again, there was something in it that struck such a strong twang for one reader that they insisted another reader or several readers would read it, and then they would come in and do it. And this would happen hundreds of times, y'all. So that is, the quality of your writing is not as important as something strikes such an important chord that no other book or recent book is striking for readers, and they will just tear your book up with joy. They will live it. They will keep like making dresses that match the cover. They will do whatever to relive that, and that's all that matters. It does not matter that, you have worked so hard on your craft, which is essentially Tom's pitch to me of like, Gloria, you've got to start publishing. So I just want to share of like, it's perfectly fine to be as mediocre as you've got if that's all you've got. If your story's compelling or your characters are compelling or your world building is just delightful, please just go ahead, get in there and get dirty, y'all.
Yeah, and you can say the same thing and apply that to Authortube or movies or anything.
Yes.
You can have like the worst camera ever, but if you have a great personality, your audience is going to see that and they're going to continue watching your stuff.
That's right.
Exactly.
90% of who we love is, as far as content, it isn't the content, really. I mean, it is maybe that brings someone in the beginning. It's the creator. Like, the people I subscribe to, follow, go to their streams, hang out with them. They're people I would go hang out with at Target and then go get my nails done after and talk trash about everybody we just hung out with at Target. So that's what I'm looking for, and that's what I'm about in this life. So that's what I think most people are probably doing similar things. So, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys. There is no such thing as writer's block, just people who don't know how to remove distractions.
I agree with the first part of this sentence, but not the second. Because sometimes...
Yeah, because you're doing 50 things at the same time, child. I've seen you. You were hand sewing a pencil case the last time I met you.
That's true. You were.
Child.
Did you finish it?
Yeah.
Did you finish the pencil case?
Yes, I did. I don't have it with me right now, but I love it. It slides up and down, so it becomes a stand on my desk.
Honestly, you give me life every time, Charliee.
Then I decided I'd teach all my friends how to do it, so I'm putting them through the same thing.
Nice.
But no, okay. See, I am is it like a sprint writer? Is that what you call it, where you just write until you burn out?
Yeah.
Because I joined Authortube September 19th, around there. Since then, I've written 3 stories, started querying, and done all that writerly stuff or whatever. And then only after that have I been like, okay, now I need to chillax a bit. And I've been in this weird funk where I'm just I don't know how I spend my days. Actually, that's a lie. I watched this Asian television series drama, and it was the best thing ever. And now I just don't know what to do with my life because it's over, and I'm searching up other TV shows to watch, but nothing compares.
Oh, you're in a show hole.
You ran out of bee documentaries?
Yeah, I know. It's amazing, right?
How could you run out of bee documentaries?
I don't know. I think I've given up on
It's like fishing all the fish out of the ocean.
Yeah, but no, that's why I think I just get burned out of writing. I have to write until I stop writing because I need a break.
I agree with that. If you have something to write, and you're, I don't know, I have a tendency to just keep writing, and I won't stop until I'm out of story, and then I take a break for 3 months. It's not necessarily about finishing. It's just about, I just want to get this down on paper, and then when I'm done, I'm done. Or if I have more to say, I have more to say. There are other times, though, that we have to always remember, which is those times when people who I have a chronic illness that will put me out for weeks at a time. And I don't count that as being writer's block because I can barely, my brain isn't working. Right. My brain is soup. So I'm not going to write. It's all going to be garbage. I already know that. But I will do other things, I will read all of the books that I have in my TBR. I will watch all of the anime that I haven't touched in a while. Just refilling that well so that I have something to put out.
You reminded me of how many animes that I have fallen behind on.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen an anime.
It's okay. I forgive you.
Yeah. when you're crafty and whatnot, it's the good thing is when you run out of things to write, you can always just do something else. So I don't ever say I necessarily have writer's block. I say I just want to do something different, and I go and I do the other thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Same.
Sometimes
Like,
you just
it
don't
needs
want to
time to
write
draw.
today.
Yeah, like today is time for me to draw, or time for me to bake something.
Same.
You have to give love to all your babies.
Yeah.
Watch out though. The writer's block debate can get like spicier than you think.
Oh yeah, people get real personal about that. Like, how dare you invalidate me? And I'm like, it's okay.
Like, alright.
That's sort of why I submitted like this as an unpopular opinion, because I actually also agree with the first part and don't agree with the second part, but that's why I sort of like put this in, because I was like, oh, spice. But it was because like I fully actually, well, I said I disagree with the first part. I actually fully agree that writer's block can be a thing. But I think at the same time, it's only a thing because we said it was a thing. I think this is going to get like really like meta, but I feel like it's one of those things that we accept because we have acknowledged it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I use this example like often, and it isn't actually true, but you get the concept, right? You went to Africa, like deepest, darkest Sahara, right? And you tried to explain the internet, right? Can you imagine how bonkers these people would think you are if you said there's this like magic rock where you can like chat to it, and this rock will like show you everything that exists in the world, and you can chat to other people. Like, try and actually explain the internet to someone that's never seen the internet. It sounds like you're insane. Okay. And I feel like writer's block can be viewed that way, in the sense of being like, you know exactly what you want to do, but you just don't know how to do it. Do you know what I mean? You're like, here's my story, but how do I write it? How do I actually do it? Like, how do I actually get it on paper? What do I do with it? And I feel like that can be like a really difficult thing. But at the same time, I also think it's one of those things where too many people now go, oh, I have writer's block, and just then stop thinking and go, I'm allowed to. I'm like, well, you are, but only if you actually want to break, like you said, like only if you're actually sitting there going, I want to go bake something, or, you know, I'm just not really bothered right now, I want to go do this instead, or, you know, whatever. Like, that's not writer's block, that's you just taking a break. Like, what?
I feel like writer's block has just become this all-encompassing thing. Like,
it's almost
you call
as
it
if
writer's block.
People that sit there and go, I can't be bothered to learn how to write, so I'll pretend it's YA. Sit there and go, I can't be bothered to write, therefore I've got writer's block.
Yeah, no, that maybe not what it is. Maybe you need to take a mental health day. Maybe you just need to do something else. Maybe your story isn't going anywhere, so you need to switch to another story because the story isn't going somewhere. That's why you're stopped. It could be I guess it's become this many different things, and we just say it's writer's block. But what is it really? Because if you figure out what it is really, then you can work your way out of that or do something different.
And like Sherri said, I'm the exact same. Like, I will sit there and I will do like 3 10,000 word days in a row, and I'd be like, boom, I just did like 30k in 3 days. I then don't write for 9 months.
Yep.
Right?
That checks out. Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas there's some people that write like 100 words a day for an entire year, and I'm like, we've done the same amount of work in a year.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Right. Like I'm one of the like I started a new project 3 months ago, something like that. I think about like 5k, but I haven't written anything in about 2 weeks. But I've literally thought about it like every day and gone, what if I do that? What if I do this? And I've just not actually been bothered to write yet because I'm like, I don't know yet.
Oh, I do that too.
It doesn't mean I'm technically not still writing. I'm not working on it.
Right.
But the second where like 2 bits just fit perfectly together, I know I'll be able to sit down and, like I say, bust out 3 10,000 word days in a row.
This leads into another unpopular opinion, actually, which is that writing isn't word count. You can do a lot of planning deep within your subconscious, and it's still writing.
Yes, agreed.
Yes.
100.
There are so many times I'm walking around my house, and I've said this before, that I'm afraid that one day I'm going to be that old lady that talks to herself, because I'm doing dialogue in my head. And I thought that this was unusual until I joined Authortube. And everybody's like, oh no, that's normal. I'm like, really? Everybody goes around almost out loud talking to themselves. I'm like, I have to sometimes like, did I say that out loud?
That's why I stopped streaming my writing sessions, is because I've gotten to the point in my writing right now where I have to say things out loud. I have to talk it through to like somebody, and if there's no one around, it's going to be myself, and people are going to like see me talking to me. It's not pretty.
That's why I don't film live write-ins. I don't, and I won't. And those are the only ones I say no to usually, other than this one, of course, because of the spicy takes. But usually write-in, same thing, because I read it out loud. Like I read everything I write out loud as I go.
Yep.
It's just a me thing. So it's like nobody wants to see that.
Yep. I do that too. I'm like camera off because I'm gonna look like a crazy person
Take
talking
my
to
notes.
myself.
Right. Eat a pen while I'm doing it. Like who knows what?
Yeah, and I do other things. I get up and I walk around. It's weird because I'm like, I have to sit here. But normally my writing process is literally me. I'll walk around the office, then come back and write something. Then
I'll do the thing where I just carry my cat like a baby and just like walk around. Like no. I just need to hold you. Like just let me fluff you.
Yeah, so when I turn off the camera, it's because I'm moving around, I'm holding Loki, but the thought process, and so I've stopped saying my word count. That is another topic. Did I write that one down? Because my productivity is way more than just my word count. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. There's so much other things, so many other things. Oh my gosh, it's late. Sorry. There's so many other things that go into. Yeah. Okay, young one.
Look, okay. RP is drinking right now, so I'm pretty sure like we could give him a freaking pass because he is super sober, and we're the ones who are going down.
You're doing yes, you are 2 a.m. with your drink.
He sounds legitimately coherent, and we're dying.
Let me just say, RP is
he's trying to catch up.
RP is a new favorite. There is lots of spice there, and this is a fun energy in the mix. Let me just say. Neil knows how to cast, because this Real Housewives would be a hit. Like, wait till you cut to those individual interviews.
We're going to have like an untucked episode, or we just like spill tea.
Yeah, please do it. Someone host
Authortubers Untucked.
Yes.
It just has everyone backstage except for like one person who's on stage.
Yeah, exactly. But
and then surprise, they were here. They heard you the whole time.
Right.
I've actually witnessed this.
No.
Oh, I have.
No,
it's terrible.
Heard people talking about them, and
no,
I've witnessed it. It's not great.
I would want to die. I would just,
no. Okay, so I talked a big game, but we were I think it might have been on one of Glory's streams, but we were talking about if you're at the table and things start going down, who you are you the person that grabs the popcorn and starts, grabs it, is like all into it and watching, or are you like me? I'm like, I will watch until I feel like I'm about to get dragged into it, and then I'm gonna do the
it depends.
Just be the slow gone, so that when my name gets called, I am no longer there.
The people.
Yeah, no, I don't really want to be in it.
I'm gonna watch the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like personal friend, then you can bet I'll be right in the middle going, time out for both of y'all.
See, that's what I need, Charlie. I need someone to like tell me to just take it from a 10 to a 4.
To just referee it.
All right, cheers, partners, guys. Yeah.
I am the. I don't know how I managed to get this, but I know all the tea because I never spill any. So I know a lot more than I let on. Just saying.
Yeah, and I'm that person. I usually know nothing unless you tell me directly.
Right? I'm like sharing. I'm available. Call my agent. Set me up for a stream.
Barrett's like, I can keep secrets.
I am literally a safe, so no, I'm not spilling any tea. But I know everything.
Sherri's gonna be kicked over the wall and then spill all the tea.
Sherri knows nothing about me.
I mean, I feel like this should just be its own real quick topic of like Authortube and the tea problem, but we've kind of you talk about our stuff, but arcs are free. Okay.
All right.
I have nothing to say to that.
Everyone.
Barrett, are you gonna have a?
You should.
Has your Achilles tendon been cut, sweetie?
You should save it
My hair is so nice today, isn't it? Isn't it
Yeah.
like it's so shiny? It's shiny because it's full of secrets.
It's beautiful.
Yes, it's
Those
gorgeous.
secrets are valuable. You can use them. I'll take as many as you're willing to sell. Twitter, I would say, do sanity, what you can do on sanity, right? Twitter, it's the darkest place in the world for both of you. We're stupid and do stupid things and say stupid things. So I try to stay off of it. It's bad for me.
Same. I'm rarely there. Usually if I'm there, it's not even for anything. It's usually because I've heard something and I need to find out what was going on. So Twitter is the place to find out, but I don't want to talk about it. I'm not getting into it. I just want the information and I'm out.
I retweet people's pitch wars because I love
yeah.
them. That's
That's
all
a
I
good
do
thing.
on Twitter.
Get mad pitch wars, same.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's very good.
You need it for that, yes.
I mentioned Twitch words or
Yep,
pitch. I mentioned pitch words for everybody, but I don't. Yeah,
When
I'm
I
like,
was-
it's happening. Congrats and good luck to everybody who's doing it. That's about it.
When I was like a few years ago now, I was essentially, it was at that point where Tom was like, you've got to start publishing. You're driving me nuts. So I was like, okay, well, I need association. I need to know which publishers to go, and all that. So I started researching on Twitter, and that is how I accidentally found all the drama that was going down in various organizations, like the mystery writers, the romance writer, like the drama. And I thought that was actually helpful because as somebody who was looking at getting published in these genres, I need to know who to avoid. And so Twitter was very helpful for that because there thankfully are authors willing to be honest on Twitter, at least as much as they legally can be, about what's going on behind the scenes that, future authors need to know about. Like the racism, the sexism. I need to know that. I need to know who to avoid and not who to waste my time with. And also, I don't want to be part of certain organizations that are super racist, super sexist. And so, let alone, I don't want to give them my association money at all. So that was like where I do think Twitter has a place, even in the research level for any writer, as well as it is a way to connect with readers. Since there are hashtags for reads, for like romance readers, when they just want something to read, there are hashtags ditto for every other genre. So it's a wonderful way to connect with readers who are also sometimes happy to give feedback, like directly to you about what they liked and didn't like, what worked for them, and so on. Mm-hmm. So Twitter has its uses. The rest of it is just a flaming pile of garbage, but
Oh yeah.
Can I say something I just thought of while you were saying that? Two things. One, publishing paid me was really important, came out of Twitter. So things like that absolutely come out of Twitter, and they're critical, and that's the way it's passed, and they make a spreadsheet and talk about discrepancies in pay for different ethnicities, all kinds of things. Yes. So that it came out of Twitter. The other thing that's really helpful is if you're going TradPub, unfortunately, you should have one because it's the best way to research agents and what they are wanting on their lists at any particular time. So unfortunately, the wish list, MSWL, is still the best hashtag to look up an agent's current wish list, and the Twitter is the most current usually. So I'll say that. That's what I said.
Very good. Guys, let's do a sprint and take a break. Oh, wait. Before I go, Charliee, did you want to say something?
I can say it after.
No, go ahead. So we're going to start with another topic because there are so many.
Okay. I'll make this very snappy then.
Okay.
I'm a big believer in the social media. There's a dark side to every social media that you join, and it's your decision whether or not you want to be a part of that dark side. And I think that just like on Twitter, you can find really great people, but you need to be able to filter out the bad stuff until Twitter does that feed for you. Because if you find good people, then they will also post good things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that.
That is an excellent point, though. Very good.
Nailed it.
All right. Yeah, she did. Because I avoid Twitter, but then people like Charliee will bring the reality that this is very true. So one day when I have more time, I might take the time to go through Twitter and make it more.
I find
what
the
I wanted
whisper networks Like, they're not always on Twitter though. They're like, if you're good at story and finding story, you will get tea. Just be better at gossip. You're a writer. All of you in chat. All of you are specifically good at getting gossip. You know how to do this. Use your powers for good.
And on that, let's do a 20-minute sprint break. Do what you need to do, and we will be back for our final segment of tonight's Authortubers React to Unpopular Opinions.
Gossip is great. Fight me.
You know what? Sometimes, as long as it's not about me, I'm just saying. Hey guys, welcome back.
Good morning.
Hello.
Well, hello there.
All right, let me get rid of that. How did everybody do during their break? Did you get things done or did you just chill?
Charliee had a costume change.
You're muted.
It is so hot where I'm sitting right now. It's like a sauna, and we have AC, but I don't think it's working very well.
Oh no.
So, yeah.
I also had a costume change, but y'all can't see.
I'm not wearing pants anymore.
I'm wearing shorts.
Wait, our Brady Brunch squares moved.
Oh yeah, because I don't like to be at the bottom person gets blocked. So I feel like it's rude if I'm the host. So
You can put me on bottom anytime, Nia.
okay.
Oh, we gathered that.
Stop it, Glory.
How am I supposed to do that when I have this mind?
It was said with intention, Glory. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all have no idea my background, okay?
What? We do not.
Oh,
but
yeah.
everything that could be inferred in that comment, I meant.
Oh, bless. You're welcome, Hazel. What
Yes.
is our next hot topic?
I am pulling it up right now as we speak. But StreamYard is like not frozen, but just not letting me move the things.
Because
Oh
you're
dear.
the Gossip Guru while we were on break, and I'm
I know.
freshly ready. Oh,
Oh, good.
Was there anything new over there? Or is it just the same old
no, they haven't. It hasn't been updated.
whining and complaining?
Like I said with Samantha, the moment someone takes the time to like rip me to shreds on there, I've made it. Like when I first saw myself get trashed on Reddit, I was like, yes. Like,
Oh no.
I don't think I've ever been trashed.
oh, I was.
I'm
Oh,
kind of pissed.
it was like the best day of my life.
Oh, I know.
I
I'd be like, oh.
I searched myself up once, and I don't know, I had mixed feelings. Someone like promoted one of my bullet journaling videos, but they promoted the worst bullet journal video that I had ever done. And so I was like, on one hand, I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. But then I was also like,
Why that one?
yeah.
Why? Yep.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
All right. This one, Glory, do you wanna take this?
Oh.
Writers aren't competing with each other.
Oh,
for
I will own
readership.
it. Yeah. So I've been told to my face that I am naive and I don't understand the writing economy, specifically the book economy, book market, and that there's a limited number of writers and a limited amount of money. So every writer is competing against every other writer, specifically in their genre, but in a general sense too. And they're also, by the way, this is what I was told, competing with magazines for readership as well, since readers would rather read magazine articles than novels anyway. So I have a difference of opinion because there's no writer I've ever met who can write enough to keep even one reader filled with reading material for an entire year. Like we just can't. The process takes too long. Versus a reader can just rip through anything we read, within a day, a week, something like that. When they're really into it. So I don't think that, and this is my unpopular opinion, apparently, I don't think there's any real competition, even in the same genre. Even if your books almost match someone else, like we both have dragons, or we both have angels, or we both have monsters with wings, whatever. Pick it, whatever. But I don't think there's actually any competition because those readers, they like that. So they want more of it and they want to keep reading that. And they will sacrifice gas money if that's what's necessary to get a hold of the reading material that matches their interests.
See, it's a difference of perspective. There are people it's a difference of perspective. There are people who want to publish for the sake of being published. They want to just get their book out there and say, oh my gosh, look, I have a book. But then there are also people who are like, oh my gosh, here's my book. I want to make money. Let's start looking at the at the dollars that are coming in, and let me compare it now because I want to be on New York's best-selling author list. And in order to do that, that's all numbers. That's all comparing with each other, right? And I think it's also hard to not compare yourself when you are first marketing your book, because essentially you're marketing your book.
Yeah. Can I piggyback off of Gloria's point? I agree with Gloria 100%. The one thing I would say where I think, at least my friends in Trad Club, this happens, I don't know about Self, but in Trad, they aren't competing with other writers for the readership so much as they are the marketing and PR, like, sliver of attention they're going to get from the publisher, and the sliver of attention their agent's agency and siblings of their agents, you know, are going to go out and push them, and their groups on debut groups, and like it's all about that. That's the competition, not so much for the readership, and that's where I see it get ugly in the trad pub world, at least, between creators or writers. Excuse me, sorry, wrong medium. Writers, right? Or at least that's what I see. So I don't know how it is in Self, but in trad, that's what I see more of with the competition, right? Because I think Laurie's totally right about the readers. I mean, 150%. From a teaching background at college level, I saw kids reading all the time. And truly, the kids that were readers in my classes were readers. Like, they would come in with different books every class, even if I saw them 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I love how it's like when a person buys a book, that's like the only book they're ever going to read.
Right.
Like,
This is
no,
I'm done.
I'm pretty sure they're going
One
to
and
be
done.
finished with this book at some point. They might be curious even to pick up other books within the same genre. Isn't that how YA became so huge?
Yeah, I thought so.
Now, don't get me wrong, right? I'm definitely not the person to like rush out something just for the sake of like wanting to have it published. You know, like that's never something I would have ever done. You know, like just deliberately like pushing something so you can say you've got something printed and like so you can hold it and like have it out there in the world. That's not something I can sort of relate to. But I kind of understand people that do. But at the same time, I fully agree. People don't just read one thing once, and there's this idea of like read one thing once, like this idea of like having to compete with other writers. Like, you know, we're not talking about like, you know, phones here. We're not saying like if you're an Apple fan you're strictly Apple for life. Like, I think most people, like, I might be a minority here because I have an awful memory, but most people don't even understand like whose book they've picked up. Like, they'll pick up a book in a bookshop that looks good, talk about it, and they go, oh yeah, who wrote that? I don't fucking know.
That's
you know what I
true.
mean? Like, it's really not that much of a if your book's interesting, your book's interesting. Like,
Yeah.
people will buy it, like, full stop. You don't need to worry about like trying to like awkwardly push it or like compete with people. And you definitely should never rush a book out, especially if it's awful. And you definitely should never consider pushing a book out there just so it's out there and then having to take it down because you realize you did a wrong thing. That's all.
Like, this is the excuse given. Like, I literally have heard this from about 8 different trad published authors, longtime authors. Like, they write a lot, they have a whole back catalog, but they have a newsletter. And when asked, why don't you tell your readers about this other writer, this debut writer, or they've only written 2, and they're like, oh no, because we're in direct competition, so I'm not about to tell my readers about them. I've heard 8 different traditionally published authors who have bought houses on the amount of money they've made from books. In the last 20 years, I have heard this from 8 different authors' mouths. So this is a common belief, at least among career writers, to at least some degree.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I missed part of that. That
They said it with their, like, to you personally?
Yes, to me personally, to my face.
To my face.
To my face. Oh yeah, the Southern comes out to my face. They said, oh no, I would never tell my newsletter subscribers about that writer because we're in direct competition for readership.
Well, I only
even
know
though they've got nothing coming out for another 12 weeks.
What
or
I
12
think
months.
is really interesting is I think it's New Leaf Literary Agency.
Yeah.
But I have a book from them, and I think it's interesting because you know how there's advertising sometimes in books?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they advertised all the rest of New Leaf's books in that one book, which I thought was interesting. And I didn't realize it at the time, or before this point, but a lot of those quotes that are like, oh my gosh, I love this book so much, are just from other authors at that agency.
Right.
So, I mean, at one point it looks like it's camaraderie, but it's also the publishing house trying to push the house.
Yes.
Right.
Claps to this. This is something that I think they talked about on Kate's video that I would just mention too, that it's true. In TradPub, they have more reviews because the wider public is reading their stuff and going and reviewing. And so it sort of balances out the friends that go and support in the debut group or the siblings of the agent, or just, by the time you get published, you usually know people that have been published already.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks more pronounced in self-published. When you go and you're like, wait a minute, I read that book and it was trash, and it has like a bunch of 5-star reviews. What happened? Well, that's what happened. Like, anything that happens in TradPub, it gets a little more whitewashed because of the extra reviews that are there.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like in that vein, sometimes indie published books are judged a little bit more harshly, and they don't have as big of an audience to balance that out.
Agreed.
Where a badly written TradPub book will still have 4 and 5 stars, and it's just like, but one bad, and it's unfortunate because you don't want to, like, I'm not going to give somebody a 5-star if they didn't earn it, but at the same time, if you give an indie publisher a 1-star, that hurts more.
I've given some 4 stars on indie just because, and it hurt to hit it and hit 4 and hit submit, but I did it because I was like, I know them and I love them and I know what it does to them if you don't. Because Amazon is brutal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I'm one of these, I'm like an extra critical, like, reader. I'm an English student. Like,
it's fine.
I will find an error in any mofo book that exists.
Yeah.
Like, I literally, I was going to say tweeted. I didn't. I put it on Instagram story because Twitter's toxic. I even say story. I don't think I did. I think I even DM'd. Anyway, the point is, like I even found like a mistake in Neil Gaiman's American Gods.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's an old ass book,
Mm-hmm.
right? That has had time to be reviewed, and I still found an error. Granted, right? All the error was there wasn't a space between a full stop and the next letter, right?
Yeah.
I know it sounds minor. Dude, just hit space.
Yeah.
And so part of me is like, when people say like, oh, I found this like indie book and it had like errors in, it had this and it had that, and I'm like, there is a difference between like errors in the sense of like there's like a space missing, like someone hasn't read it properly, and like physically they can't spell necessary. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so I think there is like you have to give a leeway. Do you know what I mean? Like, because like I said, like Neil Gaiman's a massive name. Like my guy's got TV shows.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And there's errors in his books that have been read by different publishers, different houses.
Yeah.
Published over what is American Gods, like 10 years, 20 years? Something
It's
like
20
that.
I
years.
want to say it's 20 years.
Because I think like the first time I read American Gods is now old enough to graduate high school almost.
Amazing. I knew it was time.
Pretty old, yeah.
But like, if no one has noticed all of these errors in like the republishings over like 20 years, then I think that we should give like an indie publisher who's only just put it out themselves a bit of leeway.
Some of them are book specific though, so like I am going to blame like the actual printers of the books a little bit.
Someone
too.
else is saying that in chat right now as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other? What was that? Was that our? I forgot what opinion we're on.
Oh, let me.
We're just chat shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Because I have one I thought of that I wanted to throw out there for anybody who's self-pubbed and ask.
Go ahead.
Do we
And then we'll
see any irony in the fact that Amazon took so much from the TradPub distribution, because they're like 70% I think now of traditional published print books that are sent through the mail go through Amazon, but how Amazon has become really, really saturated, and now that's very pay for play to get discovered, so that discoverability may not be what it was 5 years ago, 7 years ago. I'd love to hear what people in chat who've self-pubbed think about that, or
Before we begin discussing that, can I just throw a fun factoid that I learned recently about Amazon?
Sure.
Did y'all know that Jeff Bezos originally designed Amazon to be an online bookshop for people that didn't have a local bookstore?
Yes.
No, I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
So I learned this
We talked
recently,
about it.
and I think we did. And
Oh,
I
no,
think
go with the
it's
lead.
mildly hilarious that my guy Jeff was like, not everyone has access to a bookshop. Why don't I make a way where I can get books to anyone ever? And then, like, what are we, like 15 years later? He's like, what if I kill off the book industry? Wouldn't it be hilarious? Right?
I mean,
So just throwing that into the conversation. That's all I want to say.
The irony.
I would argue, like, look, okay, first off, let me just say I'm not in Jeff Bezos' camp at all. Like, I'm not loving him. And his rocket ship.
How not? He's
so
really good at
please
killing
don't
off
think
any
that
form
I'm-
of self-publishing,
I
any
feel
form of small
however-
business, and destroying the
Right.
environment. How can you not support him?
What's not to love?
I have my reasons. So, but what I would say is Jeff Bezos, certainly, he may be the last of many people trying to kill off the publishing industry. He is not the first, and he's certainly not actually the most significant, at least in the American economy. Specifically, it had to do with a law enacted in 1982 that changed tax law for how inventory was taxed. In that inventory, it was the first time inventory in America would be taxed. So we used to have tons of mid-level writers. What you would do as a publisher is you would have a big run printed because you knew, okay, this pulp book is going to sell, but it's a steady seller, not a bestseller. Mm-hmm. And then you would put it in your warehouse and you would slowly sell off 5 or 10 years worth of books before you had to do another round, another press. The 1982 law changed that. And what that meant was every year, every publishing company, as well as everyone else who kept inventory, so retailers, were taxed on whatever they had in their warehouse, even though they'd been taxed the previous year. And that was the death of mid-level writers. It took another 10, 15, 20 years for that to happen. But mid-level writers is why we used to have so many publishers in the 60s and 70s, because mid-level writers sell consistently, but they don't sell big. So that's actually what was keeping a lot of small publishers in business, was a steady selling of a book a day, maybe a book a week. But when you've got, 300 books selling, you've got a little bit of money coming in all the time. And that is the end of it. And so as those publishers could no longer afford to keep mid-level writers in business, they started being sold off to the big, it used to be like Big 12, and then it was the Big 10, and now we're down to 4? Mm-hmm. So I think that's actually the most significant death of traditional publishing, because a lot of my favorite publishers like Daw, they don't even exist anymore. They've been sold off to Penguin, and let me tell you, they are not the same, and they're not publishing the same kind of fun little sci-fi fantasy pulp that they used to. For years, I knew if it's a Daw book, I'll just go ahead and buy it because I knew this publisher, and it was always going to be a fun ride. So that, I would say, is like a much bigger death to publishing, traditional publishing, than Jeff Bezos, although he is certainly having his fun dancing on the graves of all the publishing houses. I would agree.
Yeah. I popped this one up because it was...
Sorry, real quick. I'm just going to pause. Traditional publishing is not dead. They do not make $4 to $7 billion a year per house to be dead, and the middle houses that are making 100 to 600 million a year are not dead, and there are more than 30 of them in different genres. So I'd say if you think that like traditional publishing is dying, I'll point you to where it's living and alive and well. It's just eating up all the small, marginalized publishers and the ones that are struggling for cash. They're going in and eating them alive, and then eating up their talent, spitting them back out, and producing more white Sarah Janet BS. Next.
No, yeah, I popped this
Oh
out.
my god, that's
it
what
tied
J
in.
stands for?
I don't know. I
Everybody just says that. I don't know if it's real or
that's
not.
true.
They just say Janet.
It sounds like what it would be, doesn't it? Like if you just imagined what's on a driver's license, you know it's Janet.
Janet sounds like Karen's younger sister, so I stand this.
Yeah.
Karen and Janet.
So this kind of tied into some of the things that were being chatted about. Some dovetailing off of our last topic. So I think that this is changing a lot because of spaces like Authortube where you can get a lot of information and at least knowing where to go, and with KDP where you can do the book on demand printing, which helps indie writers who don't have to. I have to buy 300 books and then I've got to go to the bookstore and try to hawk my books. So maybe there were, and maybe that's getting better. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Fun fact, I have never bought a book off of Amazon.
What? I'm sorry.
That's
Neither
great.
ebook or physical book copy. If I want an indie author's ebook, I will use I have like an e-reader that's a Kobo, which is Canadian. Sorry. And I have like Apple Books. So
Only a Canadian would be sorry for being Canadian. Like,
Yeah.
just bless it to the end of my little soul. Charliee, I have always said you're too pure for this world. And the fact that you've never ordered anything from Amazon, like, you're one of the last going straight to heaven.
There were plenty of books I wanted to buy from local bookstores, but they refused not only to carry it, but to even order it for me.
Really?
Yes.
So,
This is
South Mississippi.
I was going to say, this is a
Oh.
South thing. We don't always have all of the options here in the South that people in more urban areas have.
Yeah, yeah.
So sometimes it's like, oh, well, there's
I've heard it's like that in
Bezos
the
is going to
West.
get a portion of this money. But
yeah.
There's a lot of places, because a lot of America's actually rural. People don't realize that America's way bigger than y'all think it is, and the bookstores are just okay. So there's a Barnes and Nobles here, not Barnes and Noble, Books a Million. Not the current manager. It's 3 managers ago, but I used to love to buy magazines. I love magazines. So I would go in and there would be like always different magazines. And then I'd go back the next month and next month's magazine. Okay, I'd get that again. 3rd month, the magazine's gone. And I'd go ask the manager, can you please order this magazine again? I don't know why. Did you sell out? And the manager said, and I quote, "Oh, we stopped ordering that because it was selling out so quickly I'd have to reorder it mid-month every month." And that happened to me 3 times in a row in 1 year. And I'm like, I can't handle this.
Is it the same manager?
It was at the time the same manager, and he was there for 8 years.
yeah,
So-
we would have a similar thing happen where they would buy so many, but they knew that they would be able to sell a little bit more, but the way that bulk things that you got this bulk amount. And so when it sold out, they wouldn't reorder because they'd have to reorder another bulk, and the price wouldn't match out for how many more people would buy it. It's just South and rural issues. You deal with them to not live in the city.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
Charliee.
And just to clarify, I definitely do use, like, I've ordered Christmas presents off of Amazon, but I've never tried the KDP services or anything.
That's it, Charlie.
Yeah.
You were good. You're scum now. Fuck you.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's over, Charlie.
Yeah, even
I'm kidding.
Your winter halo.
And I will buy an author's book if that's the only place that they're selling to support the author.
Yeah, same.
But
There is no
Otherwise,
ethical
no.
consumption under capitalism, so I don't know why we're all trying to pretend like there is.
yeah,
We're
it's-
all effed.
we are. We're in
Let's-
it.
Facts.
Let he
We're in
who
it.
has not seen throw the first stone. I'm
That's
sorry.
And there are financial barriers. It's just true. And if you have a shitty cover, I'm not going to buy your book unless I know you and love you and have done it for that reason. And same on the editing. If I open it up and I can tell that you've not either had someone edit it with some skill or paid someone to do it properly for you, then womp womp. If your formatting's trash, like all these things cost money, and I get it, and it sucks. And I totally what Sherri was saying, like it's capitalism, man, and it sucks, and it's shit, and it's trash, and that's the world.
So if I can add to that comment, like I said, I'm not one of the sorts of people in the world that would ever like consider putting out like an awful cover or like have no concept of formatting. Like, there are barriers, of course. And KDP does give you options, like where you can just like chuck shit up into the world and you can have it, like visually published or whatever. And there's these ideas, but there are some people that God knows who these people are, but there are some people who just throw something up into the world and not even consider like if a chapter starts midway down the page, or like consider if it was still in like font size 11 or has like no margins, or like if the cover was directly made on Canva, or you know, if the back even looks like it exists. You know, it sounds like a horrible place to be, and I can't imagine anyone that would ever do it. Especially, you know, like the idea, you know, like when you open a book and it has like the opening credits, or you know, even if you just open it and it just start away has a fucking start of the fucking book, and that's it, full stop. You know, there are some people that just put no effort at all into just throwing something out there in the world, or paying for an editor, or paying for a cover design, or you know, financial barriers. And quite frankly, I pity those people.
Avi is out here helping everyone right now,
doing God's work.
Yes.
I would like to point out, okay, this is now like 5 years old, and I would also point out I have actually done various typesetting for different published books now. I do know what the fuck I'm doing, but at this time, as you can see, no, I did not. I am now professional on InDesign. I'm a paid InDesign user. I do actually know what I'm doing now. This is not an accurate representation of my humanity.
But that's the book that broke through for you and made you wealthy. So,
I mean,
so how does one walk away from that sort of fame? And like, how do you do it?
yeah.
Who knows?
Yes. Oh, guys, this was so much fun. Does anybody have any closing thoughts on the one and any of the topics that we discussed tonight?
Unpopular opinion, not enough of you have subscribed to my channel, so click my link below and go fix that.
Everybody is linked. Sometimes the links die after the stream is over. Please, especially if you can, click on Charlie's now. Her YouTube is difficult to search out for some reason. Is that fixed, Charlie? Do you know? Or is it still?
I have no idea.
It's because of the spaces. It's the spaces, Charlie.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how many times I have tried to find you and it just hasn't worked?
Yes, it was hard, but I have her linked, and she's also, if you go back to the YouTube video under the same title, everybody's linked down there also, and I've got two of their you can find them at. So follow everybody. They are really fantastic people. As you can see here, we have opinions, but we have fun with it. It's all good. We love you guys. We love each other, and so we can give those opinions with love.
As far as final thoughts go, if you want to make it as an author-tuber and become rich and famous, then you are in the wrong part of YouTube.
100.
Just chill here with the rest of us, because we're all poor. You know it. We're all scraping the barrel of the poverty line. It's fine. It's acceptable. But you know what we make up for? Okay, we have taken our trash and turned it into beautiful treasures. Like all of this fabulousness that you see before you, it's just craft supplies. I have used my excessive creativity in order to make this look good. Okay. So
it takes a lot of hard work and effort.
It takes a lot of money to look this cheap.
Dolly Parton, the queen.
Yes. Also, if you are watching, there's a lot of fabulous author tubers and Twitch writers in the chat right now. Link up with them, catch their names, and find them either on Twitch or YouTube. They are really fantastic people. They have great channels. They keep me entertained when they do their live streams. I was watching Sherri on with the ladies, the Hex Girls. The Hex Girls.
The Hex.
Kept me entertained when I did not want to work.
Yes.
I did not want to work, and you guys kept me going. Thank you.
The Hex Girls from Scooby-Doo was like one of my sexual awakenings. Like, that was a time. That was a time to be a child questioning things.
That's how I realized I was gay too.
I mean, valid response.
Just late bloomers, come and join us.
Like, you look at the Hex Girls and you go, oh my god, they look a bit like Kiss. And you look at the Hex Girls and Kiss and you go,
wait.
And you just don't know where you are. And do you know what? That's fine.
Yes.
As I've said for many a time, there's always 3 options because both is an option.
And really quick, I want to shout out Laura Nettles. I think was that her first Twitch?
Yes.
Yes.
Congrats. Follow her, guys. I was number 10. I was like, I love cool numbers, so I'm like, I'm number 10. So, so follow Laura. You want to learn how to write some beautiful horror prose? Laura.
Yes.
Yeah.
Laura's
Jessica Williamson and
Hi,
Samantha
Laura, hi,
El
Laura.
Nassid are in chat.
Yes,
So they are
these
both fabulous people
Yes.
who,
Agreed.
by the way, are
They're girls.
running Worldwide Write-a-thon,
Yes.
WWW,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
is currently open to host submissions at the moment. We're not giving the spots out yet. We're just getting applications in, and we are going to be closing within the week. So if you could please visit either Worldwide Write-a-thon on Instagram or on YouTube, you will get all of the links and you'll be able to be part of a really fantastic community with a lot of
Yes.
crazy people who just really want to write and like talk to other people who are also writing nerds. And sometimes they spill some tea,
Yes.
but that's not an everyday occurrence. All of the rest of the time we're so innocent and pure.
Yes, that follow them. They're over on YouTube, and they can link you up to where you can get into the Discord if you're interested in joining the Worldwide Write-a-thon communities. They've got 2 Discords that will do that. They are fantastic. They're so much fun. These are the ones that kept me working when I didn't want to work.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. The Hex Girls did that for me. So thank you. Guys, it was a lot of fun. There will be a part 2. There's so many unpopular opinions, not just the ones that were mentioned by Kate and by Alexa, but you guys have some fabulous unpopular opinions yourself. Sometimes I'm like, I agree with this unpopular opinion. What does that say about me?
Follow all of my friends, but not me, because I don't actually put out content.
You Twitch.
She twitches, and when she twitches,
look,
it's great.
that's a mental condition. Don't talk about my twitches.
Yeah. Be nice to my Twitch.
And you will
content.
find Sherri on very Authortubers channels.
Yeah.
We pull her in. We're like, come on.
I just wander in and they're like, oh, hi.
Just every now
What
and
are
then
you
you'll be
doing
live,
here?
you see Sherri pop up, and the next thing is just somehow on the stream. You're like, where did you come from?
Being the
Exactly.
world's best scene stealer, I live for it. Like, you know a good line, honey. I'm telling you.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't like the fact you said crusty.
And Coffee Quills is here on Twitch, you guys. Follow Coffee Quills. They're fantastic also. And they can get you through some night writing as well, because they're on the other side of the world. All right, so outros. We're going to start with Sherri and go clockwise. I did it right. Clockwise around, and I'll end it off.
Well, thank you. I have been Sherri. I am not streaming on Twitch. Do not subscribe to me. I love you.
And for the beautiful wife digital design.
Oh, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
subscribe to my wife, except she's not
Yes.
making any content either.
Love it.
RP!
Hi. So I'm not good at intros or outros. My link's below, and you probably should have hit subscribe by now. And if you haven't, there are doctor's appointments waiting to find out what's wrong with you.
What's
Other than
wrong with
that-
your reading comprehension? Oh my god.
Yeah. I post every now and then when I remember. And I'm back from my 6-month hiatus, however long I was actually gone. I need to look out how long I was actually gone for. But I'm back now. And do you know what? Come say hi. That's it. Thank you for having me.
Almost inviting. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been lovely. And so nice to sort of meet-ish all of you.
Yeah.
Much love.
Awesome.
The fact that you're this awake at 2 a.m. in the morning.
I know.
It's
So
3 a.m. Thank you.
3.
It's 3:08.
Yes, the whiskey
It's
wants us to
3:08
know.
and this
Three.
much rum. So I can't.
Yes. Hi, I'm Glory. My channel is Glory Writes the Blues. Yeah, you might have guessed I write. And on YouTube every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, I do a live podcast type show, and it's lovely. You should totally come by. Maybe you'll make some friends. Maybe you'll just jam with us. And on Twitch, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, I do something with my brother. I'm just going to leave it as that. We eat dinner, and then maybe we play a game, or we watch a movie, or I don't know. We get up to Fink hijinks is all I got to say.
Fink jinx.
Yes,
Jinx.
jinx.
Beyond that, I like to show up wherever I'm invited and have a good time. So that's me. And if you like free fiction, stick around. We're going to get along great.
Awesome.
Okay, so I guess it's my turn then. My name is Charliee, and I post, oh gosh. See, I post once a week, but I actually didn't post last week.
I
So
noticed.
like,
Barrett said he noticed that. Ooh.
Barrett.
Barrett
Charliee.
just called her out.
No, I mean, I just was missing the content was all.
I was also sitting there being like, I also DM'd you and you didn't respond.
having second thoughts. So I was like, yeah, I might post tomorrow just for Barrett.
Thank
but-
you.
But yeah, so that's me, and I journal and I crochet, and I do whatever. I write mostly though, because you gotta have your niche.
Yes.
Yeah.
100. Okay, me.
Yeah.
Hi, Barrett Laurie. All of my links will be in the places. Let's see. This was lovely. Thank you for having me, Nia. I always love to talk about things and hear myself talk. So anytime someone invites me to do that, I will be there with bells on. And if you're going to Charlie's channel, the best video to watch is her and Miguel's mashup where they did each other's writing style.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
the best 10 minutes of your life. Like,
Oh,
it will make your day much better. So check that out
Aw.
and do that for yourself. It will make your day better. Okay,
Yes.
that's it.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to one more time. I want to put Charlie's link in the chat just because, like I said, her YouTube is
Yeah, come on.
funny. So that if you guys want to follow her, which I hope you do, that you guys will click on the link so you can go there.
It's
copy and paste.
Charlie, but there are spaces in
There's
between all of the letters.
and so I guess she can't get that thing where you get your actual name
Oh,
to do the.
Oh, no Vanity Earl for you?
Yeah. So, and it only is this very long thing that I would not be able to copy. So.
Well,
But
you mean you can't remember UCS XAWNBBL0Z? I've already fucked up twice.
Exactly.
It's okay. I'm on here. I mean, please do go subscribe, but like, I'm also on here to talk to y'all. So this
Yes.
was so much fun, and yeah.
Yeah. I mostly just came out to hang out.
Yeah,
That's it.
I had lots of fun reacting to unpopular opinions.
Spicy. You got very spicy.
Yes.
Very spicy. I learned a lot about Sherri.
Yep. Yep.
What about Sherri?
Anybody who
happened?
came in
All the
thinking
things.
you were
Doesn't
a
know.
serious man didn't learn.
I know. I'm like, I know Charlie's got opinions. I'm like, who are all the people with opinions?
I'm just
Hey,
saying,
you wanna?
somebody go against Charlie on that YA hot opinion. And she's ready to. Let me
Shut
just
it down.
let me just clear that up for you.
That's right. Excellent. You guys were so much fun. I really had a great time. I hope you guys want to come back and stream with me another time.
No, I've hated every moment of this.
Every moment, I know, torture.
I do have a link
I'm
tree.
totally kidding, by the way.
Just for just to talk about the comments. Yeah, I do have a link tree, but my link tree is on my Instagram. That would be smart if I just sent everyone my link tree.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
do
live
that.
it.
That's the secret.
Charlie, you're
Question.
Oh wait, hedgehog
Yes.
behind me?
No, it's an
In the
owl.
picture.
Oh no,
Is
this
it
is an
an
owl.
Owl.
Oh, Coffee
Owl.
Poodles love some hedgehogs. She's probably saw the. Oh, so we've got pandas and owls, and then hedgehogs in the chat.
Owls are
Love it.
just flying hedgehogs.
There you go.
But the real
I do need
winner,
to, like, on like a real random side note that no one cares about, I do need to sort out, because this is my little writing nook, and I have no pandas here. So I do need to sort
Aw.
them.
What? Yeah.
you need some more pandas.
Yeah.
I've got the panda shrine in the living room, as I showed you earlier, but like this is where I sit and write, and I've got
Multiple
like
shrines?
I've got, like,
Only
a cat
the
crate
only
that is-
cute thing I have in my area is this like contact thing that looks like Sailor Moon.
That's
It's
not
pretty.
exactly cute, I'm not gonna lie.
If Sam is still in the audience, look.
It's pretty.
But yeah, no, like I've got like my own custom made stickers and stuff like over here, but I have no pandas, so I need to figure that one out.
Yeah.
Custom made panda sticker.
Yes.
That's
There you go.
say that. Hang on, do I have one?
Do we have one?
I will get on that.
Yes.
Okay.
That needs to happen.
yes. But I think
Our,
the real winner here is Loki. So
Yes.
oh yeah.
Ooh,
Thank
Loki's
you
the
guys.
real MVP. Mhm.
Yeah. It's his bedtime, so he only made one appearance during one of the sprints. So if you might have missed it.
And I
But
vote
yeah.
for us for
He's-
all of these.
He's behaving so well. He's doing so good. But now he sleeps, so yes, I've been having a good time.
I love how you just kind of avoided giving your intro. I notice. So
Oh, okay.
outro, Nia.
Hi, hello. You're on my channel. I am Nia, the Vixen of Fiction. I'm on here on Twitch and on Instagram and on YouTube. You can follow me there. I do live streams here on Twitch and on YouTube. And I am currently working on a comic and a novella and a fantasy novel and other projects because I have so many.
Truth.
The list is on and on and
they
on.
are all amazing.
Thank you. I do show sometimes. I do show either what I'm drawing or pieces of my comic from time to time when I live stream. I'm actually thinking about starting to do some draw with me's or write with me while I'm showing what I'm actually working on as I live stream. I get nervous because I'm like, if I mess up, I don't know how the picture's going to turn out. If it turns out ugly, I'm like, y'all just spend an hour watching me make this ugly picture.
Then you say that it's part of the process.
It
Yes.
is part of the process. So not everything comes out great.
And you know me, that's an hour more watch time you didn't have before. Draw it. Who cares?
There you go.
I want more time, so if it takes you longer to draw.
There you go. Thank you guys so much. It was a lot of fun. I will keep you abreast to further future live streams. I mean, I really appreciate you guys. Y'all are really awesome. Thank you so much for coming and doing this with me.
Thank you for having us.
Also, this is my first time meeting RP, and we're best friends now.
100.
We're both catty
Absolutely.
ass bitches. Oops.
I'm really
Any of you are more than welcome to hit me up on the Instas or the YouTubes or whatever your preferred social medium is, and I will chat to you for ages.
Except for Twitter.
Except Twitter's a toxic little bitch.
Yeah, don't like her.
Twitter's
All
like
right.
that one homophobic cousin that still gets invited to the wedding that no one wants there.
That's what I call Facebook. So
See,
Yeah, I
No,
always
Facebook
thought that was more
on.
Facebook, but yeah.
Hit us all up on Facebook.
Facebook the arms that you didn't actually have to invite anyway, so it's fine. But with Twitter, no, you had to invite that cousin.
oh Nia, you had this plane landed and then we just went off.
that's
Sorry.
okay. That is
Love you
okay.
all.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.